Okay, so Jimmy Okanola here, trying to set you up for a quick recording on agent training, basically doing your buyer's um, agency agreement. So let's get into it. Let me get out of here real quick. Stop share for 1 second. Let's go back to share so I can have the exact screen I want. Here we go. So EXP agents. You come into your SkySlope, go into apps. You go into apps, you click on forms on this particular instance, because I'm already in forms. Every single thing is right here. As you can see, if I go to SkySlope, you can see everything here. But I want to show you starting apps, forms. We're going to assume that you don't have anything created yet. You may have templates. Let's start a buyer agency agreement. You click on start buyer agreement. Your libraries will show up depending on what association you belong to. So in my case, I have GCAR. If I want to do GCAR, I have MAR. If I want to use MAR, so we're going to do it like that. So the buyer agency agreement is already here, the exclusive agency agreement. So you click on add. Other forms that you need, in your file, you can go in there. Let me get out. That's not what I want to do. So I'm just going to actually get out of here altogether. Let's just save it. Okay, so to start, we go into apps where you're going to have your forms, which is right here. I already have templates created, so I'm going to apply my template. And I want to use MAR, Maryland Association of Realtor Forms. So I get over here and I'm going to click my buyer representation MAR form. And because again, like I said, I already have this templates created. As you can see right in my templates, I have the buyer representation for GCAR. If it's Montgomery County, I have the representative for DC GCAR. I have listing representation for MAR forms, GCAR forms, and so on and so forth. You can see all of them here. So I'm selecting the one for Maryland Association of Realtors. So I click apply because I already created all the templates. Every single thing that I've added on there comes up. If there's anything additional that is missing or that I want to add, I can just simply go to add forms. And again, we go back to where we started. You can have all your libraries there if you want to use that. And then you'll be able to go through all the forms. So you see exactly what it is that you're trying to do. So I'm going to go back right here. Now, let's start labeling things so you can give a name to this file once it's all done. File details. It's going to buy agency agreement. So I'm actually going to change that because I just want to have a consistent name. In this particular situation, think about it this way. You're trying to set up something for your client, for a buyer that you're going to represent. So you have a name for your buyer. So your file name needs to be a name. In this case, I'm just going to say buyer sample. I just say buyer for, I'll call the file name buyer sample. Let's just use buyer sample. It makes it easy. You don't have an MLS yet, because again, this is just an agency agreement. You don't have a sales price. No, this ones, you don't have any of those yet. You don't have a property address yet, so you don't need that. But what you do have is you have your client, your client's or soon to be client's name. So you go down there and go to buy. Again, we're calling this a buyer sample. So we're going to go and we'll do the caps and everything. So we're going to go buyer sample for the last name. If you know your client's address, you put their address on there, 123 North Street. The name starts popping up with SkySlope, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just use an address, assuming you have an address. So again, we go buyer sample one at gmail.com. You put their phone number on there, and then you save that information. He already has your information on there because you are the agent that is representing them. As for now, that's all. We're going to keep it simple. That's all you need over there. So we go to where the forms are. Now you can select all of these forms. Just let's run through. We're just going to select all the forms and assume this all the forms that you need, right? You can always deselect whatever form you don't want. And again, you can add additional forms if you need any additional forms. Um, right now, I'm just using the basic forms that I need. Here would be the exclusive buyer agency understanding, consent, and then a few other sample documents. I notice there are two exclusive buyer forms here. You can deselect one of them because EXE just put that binder together for exclusive buyers agency. That's why that one came up there. So I would assume that's the newest one. This is a template that I've had before, so I'll deselect this one. I don't want that one there. Now, the other thing that you need that is not on this form, let me see, it's not here yet, will be, so we're gonna go to add forms because I know it's not in there, and I'm going to just deselect this because I want this form to be there. Start typing the form in there. It's the MLS. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember. It's an MLS form, and I can't think of it. It's not popping up. So, oh, it's because I selected a template already. That's the reason for that. So we'll leave it the way it is for now. I'm going to go ahead. I'll take care of that. I'll add it later on. So we're going to select all. I'm going to deselect this. And then the next thing you do is just go fill and send. So very straightforward. You can rearrange any of these forms to wherever you want them to be and all that kind of stuff. You can rearrange them. Let me check something real quickly. So I'm going to say add forms because I want a particular form that is not there. So I'm going to go to add forms. Did we change this? Is that why it's not showing up? For some reason, that form is not showing up. Let me try here. Still not showing up. Okay, so for some reason, well, you just look into your library to get all the forms, any additional forms that you need. But off the top of my head, I know there's a MLS compliance form that is not here that should be there. But so once all this is there, so you know your first thing is your exclusive, and just all you do is just start filling out this information right here. Okay, for that date, buyer sample is the client. I have the phone number, I have the email, I have my information here. My phone number, my work phone number is on there, my direct line is there. That's all I need. Then you just need to fill out the same information there that is important, that is pertinent to your file, that is necessary to make your file legal. So over here it says, what kind of property is your client seeking? You can just put it on there if you're looking for single family homes, just a single, oops, and type single family homes, townhouses, whatever, condos, whatever it is that they're looking for, you type all those in there and you save that. Your agreement needs to have a start date and an end date. So you can use, if it's a month, 3 months, a year, whatever it is, whatever the time frame is, just put it on there. I'm just going to select that. Then you have to insert here the terms for terminating a contract. You have to have a term for terminating a contract, so you have to put it on there, and you can do something like by written notification from either party, or whatever your terms are of you terminating the appointment or they terminating the appointment. Put those terms in there. Whatever the terms are, they just go through. This is where you have to specify how you are going to get compensated. What are your terms of compensation? Again, this is just strictly for this is strictly training. So whatever your terms are, whatever it is that your terms are going to be, you need to put it on there, and that's it. So you put those terms in there, and If it's strictly a percentage, you put it up there. If it's a dollar amount, you put it up there, whatever you use. I'm using that, so that's what I use over there. And again, it says here, these are all things that you should go read through that you should already know. This is not an in-depth training on how contract's supposed to be done or the terms or anything like that. This is just a straight, quick 10-minute video on how you can do contracts. Then you can say if during the period of 30, 45 days, you know, read those terms and know what it is. In the event of a lease is executed, the compensation due to the broker shall be as follows. Whatever those terms are again, you put it on there. I'm going to use the same thing for consistency's sake. Um, um, the same thing that we have up there already, I'm going to put it here. Description of purchase price and um, just put those things in there. I don't type fast, sorry guys. So boom, and you just go straight through. And again, over here, you need to check all the boxes of whatever additional addenda that you're putting on there, whatever it is. If it's not on there, you can type them down, write them down here. You can say NAR uh, equal NAR equal housing opportunity. That's all the ones that's going to be there. You're going to put ratified ABA disclosure. This is, all the other forms that you include in there, you want to put in there, protect your family pamphlet, protect your family pamphlet. You get the gist. So that's basically the things that you put on there, and you just go through all that, save it. If it's already on there, and if you include any of this, you check them and you put them on there. And then we keep going. That's done. Understanding whom agents represent. You represent the buyer. You want to put that there. Your firm's name is eXp Realty LLC. Your name is, put that on there. And you represent the buyer. You're not a sub agent. You're not any other different kind of agent. That's what you are. You put that in there and you move on to the next. Consent. If you anticipate there's going to be that, so you put on the consent, again, your brokerage name and who you represent, which is the buyer, and that's it. And then you move on. They will affirm that if that condition ever arises. This form is if you anticipate that there's going to be, if you're in a team, you anticipate that. I'm actually going to remove that because I'm not in a team and I don't want any confusion. But you see how easy it was for me to just go over to this side to remove that form. For your protection, get a home inspection. I always include that. This is the National Association of Realtors Equal Housing Opportunity pamphlet. I want to include that. Ratified title is a title company that I use a lot. So I have the disclosure here. This is the blank disclosure, affiliate business arrangement because of the title companies and mortgage companies and stuff that we are affiliated with eXp as well. So if you do choose to use any of our affiliated partners, this form also must be included. Then we get to the wiring fraud that's included, and then your protect your family pamphlet that is included. So those are all your forms that is included, and you go, once all of this is done, you can rearrange any of this. So let's say, for example, if what I want to be first is the understanding whom agents represent, I move that first, then I move the consent second, I put the exclusive, then I start putting all those other forms. I just rearrange every single thing the way I want it to be. I put that pamphlet there, and I bring this one down. Boom, all done. Then you go to prepare signature. Who's signing? They're here. If you don't want your client to sign, if you don't want them just to receive a copy, you change it here. If there is no action needed for them, that's important because when you actually start doing contracts and It's the same process, nothing changes. So if you need to make any different change to what action you want your client to take or your potential client to take or the seller or anybody to take, you can make those changes here. In this case, again, because this is a buyer agency agreement for a buyer, a potential buyer that we setting up agency agreement with, they need to sign, so I'm going to change that. You can do the same thing for yourself. So we make those and we click next. The one when you click next, it goes through the process and then he actually assigns signatures and initials to certain sections of the form. But now it's incumbent upon you, though, to go through to make sure that those things are there or remove if certain portions that is not supposed to be there. So this particular form, for whatever reason, never fills out. It never fills by itself. So we're gonna do that. So you go over there, change it. I want the buyer to be the one that signs here. So I'm gonna click on signature. I need their signature over there. The way I have mine set up, I don't know why that happened, but that's interesting. The way I have mine set up is I did everything with the client having the ability to, once they sign, is going to have the date and the time stamped. I'm making an adjustment to this form, to the signature blocks. And that's how you simply do that. So that's another thing. So you click on that, and that's that for that. There's nothing else here for them to sign because you're assuming they will sign this form. If for any reason they don't, then you can always go here, come down here, and you sign over here. This is an acknowledgement that you showed it to them for whatever reason they decide not to sign. So let's move on to the next one, consent. When you come over here, this one probably was populated. Yes, this one's populated. So boom, boom, you have your signature and the timestamp over there. Then we go to the next form. This is exclusive buyer residential brokerage agreement. So we just go through this. For specificity, sometimes I like to do this. If you have certain notes in certain places, I always like, sometimes I would just want to put an initial there so that I know that my client will read that portion and they can sign. It protects you. So it's not just like you making them skim through things or they can say, oh, I never read it. I only signed where put the initials for me. This compels them to read that line and then put the initials there. If I need my client to understand and to know how long our arrangement is for, it's right here. But if, again, being overzealous, if you want to, you can put that there for them to initial. Over here, I have the note of how we're going to terminate the agreement. If it's an extensive or clear, and is more detailed terms of how we're going to terminate, you definitely want your client to be able to read that. And the way you can guarantee that it was read is put an initial on that spot for them as well so that they can sign it. And we just keep moving on. This part, I love for my clients to sign it because I want them to know how I'm going to get compensated. We've had this conversation. They all agree. We all know how, the brokerage is going to get compensated. So nothing is going to be a shock or a surprise to anybody when we finally get on the contract. So I love for my clients to initial that portion. So we keep going. Again, the same thing here. I let my client initial that. I'm just putting initials to places that is important that I want my client to have clear understanding of what we're doing so that nobody is confused about anything and it makes your transaction smooth and your relationship, of value and of integrity with your client. So you see it right here again, it makes them acknowledge, the provision over here. If you find a product that is not listed in the MLS or any of those things, for example. So we move on very rapidly. And over here, again, it's already put their signature over there. They're going to sign there. It's put my signature over there. I'm going to sign there. And we come over here. This one is always off. So move that to the same line. So everything is on the same line. And that's it. Then this, again, like I said, I do a lot of transaction with this particular title company. We use them a lot. So because of that, I'm disclosing my relationship with them so that my client knows, and boom, they can, say yeah, nay, at least they're informed and they can tell me at a later date if they don't want certain things or they want us to change certain things. But I've upfront let them know exactly who and what we're dealing with and who we'll be using for title if they choose that. Over here, that you don't need to fill out the property information because, again, you do not know a property yet. This is just an agency agreement. But again, you're letting them know who we have affiliations with. So you come over here, you can put the signature over there. I'm going to remove that. So to delete, click on that portion and click delete. It removes that. Then I can come back down here and I can just insert the date. I can do a date insertion and boom, that's it. Then I can go to text field and select text and put my client's name in there. So again, what's their name? Buyer sample. And that's it. So I put their name in there, they're going to sign it. And then we come to the wiring fraud. We come to this one, I select signature for my buyer. I click on that. I move the date and timestamp over to this side. I shrink that a little bit and I move this right down here. I can extend that a little bit if I want, and that's it. And we move on. On the protect your family, on the documents that you just need to read through, I usually like to just put at least an initial, either at the beginning, one at the beginning, and then I can put it on each and every page. So that way they stop, they read, they see what's information is being disseminated to them. So again, don't assume that they're going to read everything. If you only put a signature at the bottom, or even if you don't put a signature initial anyway, I want them to read and know, the things that we've already talked about, how it impacts their lives, what they need to look out for when it comes to inspection, the reason why inspection is important, the reason why we suggest that we do a home inspection, what are the things they need to look out for, what certain items at different stages may mean. So I go through all that. I put initials on all the pages just because I want them to read that as well. Because don't forget, people only retain so much after a long conversation of you convincing them to be for you to be their agent. So that's the reason why I do that. So again, you don't have to put it on every single page, but I put it on as many as possible. And then we go through and we come to this one, equal opportunity in housing. I do the same thing. I'll put an initial on the first page and on the last page. Only 2 pages of that document, and that's it. That's done. Oops, what just happened? I hope I didn't open another page. Yes, I did. So let's close that. Sorry about that. So you finish that, and I click send. And when you click send, it goes through, it does this thing. It's taking forever. Then it comes over here, and there you go. The AI has already put that information on there. If you like it, you leave it. If you don't like it, change it. Whatever you want to do, you can rewrite yours. You can click professional. The AI, changes it and reworks it or whatever the case is. Say, and if you don't like what you just did, if you prefer the first one, you go back to undo and it goes right back there. And then you go send for signatures. That's it. It does its thing and it tells you sign now, and you get to go into the system, agree, and then you get to sign. So we're going to click start and just insert your signatures, finish. My client will get that same document, and that's it. They'll get a document in their email and they'll sign. Now, interesting thing that just happened here was when I did this whole thing, remember I used the buyer's email. I called it buyer sample at gmail.com. Obviously, that's an invalid email, so no one's going to get that. But what you can do is, if for any reason you put the wrong email or you need to resend it to them or whatever the case is, you come back over here again. If you don't see this, as you saw, it brought us right back. But if you don't see it, you can always come to apps and you can go to DigiSign. If you click on DigiSign, it's going to bring you back to the same page, and then it shows me the documents that needed to be signed. This is the one that we just sent. So I can now say click more. Now I can tell it I want to correct this envelope, or I want to remind and resend the envelope. If I click remind and resend, the reason why I wanted to show you this is what we talked about. This is not a valid email. buyersample1@gmail.com. No one's going to get that. So let's fix that email. You can go in there and then you can go over here. And I said, the correct email is oaj1029@gmail.com. So if I do that, that's my email. And I click save, then I send the reminder. It resends that email. Now I'm going to get that email. Once I get that email, so I'm not going to assume that I am the buyer. once this pops up in my email. So, okay, it just did. So I can close this, doesn't matter. Now I can go into my email and I can click on this, and then it says a new link has been generated and sent to me. I click get started. I'm hoping you can still see my screen, and I go into I agree, and this is what the buyer sees. So they click on start, and then they can go and start signing. It tells them select a signature that works for you. Let's select that, and boom, it takes them right into it. This is how they're going to rush through it, but advise them, don't rush through anything. Please stop and read anytime, but they can easily read and see where stuff is, So that's crucial, and it's very important that you let your clients know that. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to click, click, click on all of them. If you miss anything, it's going to bring you back to it. If nothing is missed, once it finishes, it lets you know that it's all done. And you go, if it's not done, he's at the bottom, you can see it. He's got about 14 more places for them to sign. So they just keep signing. Of course, I'm not going to read it because I'm trying to get you through this training as little time as possible. So you can use this as a quick reference guide. And that's it. We are almost done. We are almost done, and we are done. Once it's completed, it says finish signing. They click that, file is done. Voila. They'll see it, they can download it and keep it for their own signatures, and that's it. And we are done. Let's deny my note taker. Don't need to be here. So that's it. We're done on that. And that's the end of that training.